Hello, 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 good people, and welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole. It's been a while, so we're gonna do our little bit of reset. And I gotta stop saying it's been a while because at this point, I'm doing these as I can. Look, and so today we're gonna do a check in on self care, the real reason why self care feels so hard sometimes for Black women. And then I'm going to kind of flow right into some series related to it. I think my goal today is really to just get us from thinking that self care has to be earned and that it's not something that we have to work up to, but choosing ourselves without guilt is something that I've been talking about on my Substack, and wanted to make sure that I came over and then also did this version live. And so if you haven't already, like and subscribe to our videos or our podcast, depending on if you're listening or watching. That being said, if you are a Black woman, you have probably at some point felt some level of guilt and or kind of almost like this thought of, did I earn this self-care, this moment, this break, this time to be able to rest? And most of the time that creates a feeling of guilt when we are prioritizing ourselves. So that's what this series is really going to focus on, because I'm going to talk about that from one angle and then maybe go into some things, some tools and stuff over some videos in the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how long these videos are. I want to try to keep them under 5 to 10 minutes. Remember, that was my goal. So let's talk about something many of us know deep down inside and rarely say out loud. Self-care is hard for Black women, not because we don't think we should and or not because we don't think it's important, right? Not because we don't think we don't need it, but because we've been taught that caring for ourselves has to come after we do all the other things in all the other areas of our lives, including taking care of other people, including our jobs, including everything but ourselves last. So many of us, we also grew up in households actually watching our mothers, our grandmothers, and sometimes our entire families having that expectation on the women in their families, where the women are the providing force, the working force, the caregiver for the children, the support for their partners, the management of the household. And oftentimes, literally, if I just list that little bit of things, because there's so many more as well, because we're doctors, all of we're everything in the household, right? Even if I just list that little bit of things, imagine how tired and exhausting it is to then say, I gotta deal with or resolve this pain. A lot of it is about just pushing through the pain and getting through it, because I still have so much stuff on my list that needs to be done, or who else is going to do it if I don't do it? So we've learned these terms and we call it strength, we call it endurance, we call it resilience. And we've learned that anything that doesn't look like you handling it all makes you weak and or can be seen or viewed as a weakness. We also learned that rest is something you can do later. I don't know where we've gotten that one from exactly, but I think each family looks at it different, where it's like, oh, when you retire, when you no longer work as hard, or when you get a when your kids get older, it's always something that delays the level of rest or responsibility to our bodies that we might need to take based off of some like imaginary time that is going to come later on. And so we learned this fairly early. And like I said, we've watched it as much as most of, depending on how old you are, you've watched it all of your life and most of your life, if not, if as many women are starting to look at and or try to establish routines. The problem with this is that if we do everything and everything gets done before us, the bills, the responsibilities, the people pleasing, the taking up people's other people's pains and responsibilities, if we do all of those things and we never have a reset, we never have a moment of care for ourselves, then the true exhaustion and hurt and pain to our bodies is the real weakness, right? It's the real weight we carry when it comes to our health, when it comes to the things that will show up because we haven't been doing that level of taking care of ourselves. We have been living in survival mode, whatever you want to call it. We've been living there. So you're kind of like, go to work, take care of your family, take care of your home. If you have a business like myself, you're taking care of that as well. It's just this unreasonable amount of surviving that we do that also sometimes looks like this grand success because highest educated group of women, highest this and that. But I'm in honoring our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. I think it's really important that we start to entrust that we do not have to earn rest. We do not have to earn self-care or caring for ourselves, because the truth is you are depleting yourself. And if you deplete yourself to the point of losing yourself, that could include losing your life. And so I'm not going to get into, listen to your body, because there's tons of videos that I've done on that. And I really want you to go back and watch a few that are very specific to what can you hear your body saying to you, what do you might need. But today I'm just wanting to give you permission. Start somewhere. Take a break somewhere in your day. If that's at work, eating lunch, if that's adding water to your routine, if that's changing your mood in terms of watching something joyful, I want you to think today, just even if it's just 5 seconds after you get off of this, instead of strolling and or losing yourself and trying to find out all the different tasks you have to do, right now, I want you to consider this permission to do one thing better for the week, right? So for me, it might be drinking water, it might be getting rest or getting more rest. But for another person, it might be getting up early to take the walk. It might be taking lunch. It might be getting off work on time, people. Your time for your life also includes you. It might be sitting in your car 5 minutes early, 5 minutes over the time when you arrive home, where you're not mom, you're not wife, you're just you. Whatever that looks like, I want you to take this as an opportunity to literally do it now. Take a action now to be able to respond to the need to care for ourselves. Because even after all the things I've mentioned related to why we don't do it and why it's hard for us, the last and most important thing is that we do something different. Our hearts are dying, literally, heart disease being a level of, or a high, one of the highest things that take our lives. When we think about the level of stress we put on, the level of lack of rest puts on our bodies, when we think about those areas, if nothing else, do it so you can be here. Do it because you want to be able to help others, but do it first because you need to. So maybe you need to rest. Maybe you need support. Maybe you need to set boundaries. Maybe you need to sit in silence. Maybe find some moment of joy. Whatever you need, I'm giving you permission today to do one thing. If you haven't already, like I said, like and subscribe to the video. This today is just strictly saying it's hard for us. I'm giving you permission. Understand that I get it. We all get it. And I think we've talked about it enough. Now we just need to take action. Start today with one thing you can do to take care of yourself. I'd love to hear what that one thing is. So drop it in the comments. And also, as you see the list building, if you start the list, it helps other people grow their list. So tell us, I'm drinking more water. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to that Pilates class I've been saying I wanted to go to. Whatever it is, I want you to write it in the chat so that we can see we're in this together and we are going to not only be deserving of rest, but we have already earned it. Y'all be well, and I'll see you next week. Take care.